Hi, my name is Claire Fields, and I'm a software engineer at Edelweiss. For the last 2 years, I've been involved in a revamp of two core parts of the website, the catalog and order pages. This is the start of some significant technology updates that will ultimately extend to the rest of the site and ensure that the tools you use every day remain stable, fast, and effective. While our primary motivation for this change is to take advantage of newer tech and improve the performance of the website, this is also an opportunity to make a few improvements to the user interface. We released a beta version to retailers in 2023 and have now rolled out to all sales reps as well. In this walkthrough, I'm going to show you how to access the new view and use many of the features to create markups, add suggestions, and review orders. The video is broken into short sections and is full of tips and tricks for new and experienced users alike. Let's get started. To access the new view, simply pull up any catalog, collection, or order. I'll use this Hachette catalog as an example. In the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you should see a toggle that says New View. This toggle is not available on every page of the website, only those which we have redone thus far, pages with catalog ID or order ID in the URL. If you are a sales rep and do not see it on these pages, reach out to support@abovethetreeline.com and we will get you set up. Clicking the toggle will refresh the page and bring you to a view that looks pretty similar to the old. The interface for retailers and sales reps looks mostly the same, so we'll focus on sales rep tools in this walkthrough. If this is your first time using the new view, you will see a pop-up walkthrough of some major changes. You can access this walkthrough, other help documentation, or give us feedback at any point from the Knowledge Center in the lower right-hand corner. If you get partway through your workflow, you can always switch back to the old view and your data will be in sync. If you do so, we hope you'll let us know why you changed back so we can address it. The best way to let us know that your feedback is about the new view is from the Feedback tab in the Knowledge Center. Now, let's explore the catalog and get to work. The title of the catalog you are viewing is in the upper left-hand corner. If you'd like to see more information, such as a catalog cover image and perform some actions like adding to a work list, click on the name. Click again to collapse this section. You can also set it to be expanded or collapsed by default in Preferences, which I'll talk about later. For easier access in the new view, we've moved the old blue bar to the top of the screen. This new gray bar scrolls with you down the page, so you always have an eye on what markup and account you're working on, as well as ordered or suggestion totals. Before each season begins, the first thing you'll do is mark up the catalog for your accounts. Every catalog has a default markup automatically created and selected. Click Markup Default to view more. When you click Create a new markup, you can give it a name and copy elements such as notes and tags from another markup if you want to. You can also import and export markups from a file. If you prefer to work in Excel, the best practice is to export the default markup, edit the elements in Excel, and then import the file to ensure that the formatting is correct. Reach out to support if you have any questions about this process. Finally, if you have multiple markups, you can select, edit, and delete them from this menu. In the new view, title actions are located to the left of the jacket cover instead of in a row below each title. We've also made a couple of tweaks to which actions are displayed up front and which are tucked away under More Actions. These changes reflect the most commonly used buttons for all users. As sales reps, you have a few additional options, such as Promote, Markup Tools, and other markup notes, if any have been shared with you, or you have written any yourself. To begin adding content to a markup, click Markup Tools. Depending on your familiarity with the catalog that you're working on, you might also want to see marketing content, comps, and images if there are any. As you select items from the sidebar, these stair steps appear, which alert you that something has happened further down the page, even if you can't see the full content on your screen. You can close panels either by clicking on the vertical text or by clicking again in the Actions sidebar. Later on, we'll look at preferences in depth, but you can set preferences for which elements are expanded by default, which will certainly make your workflow more efficient. In the Marketing Content panel, you can expand and collapse subsections such as summary, contributor bios, marketing plans, and more. Double-check the spelling of key character names in the summary and see where the author's hometown is under contributor bios. If the text of any of these sections feels too small for you, click the eyeglasses icon. Of course, you can always adjust the zoom of your browser as well. For buyers, viewing comparable titles or comps is critical. As a rep, you can click the star to highlight comps so that they stand out to buyers. Retailers have the option to view only highlighted comps, so this can be an important part of the markup process. When multiple comps are highlighted, you can reorder them by clicking this icon to the right of the star and dragging. Unhighlight by clicking the star again. You can add comps or see comps that other Edelweiss users have added by clicking Find Additional Comps. I'm interested in seeing what the community thinks, so I'll click on Community Comps, select one, and add it. You can also hide comps by clicking the minus sign, but be aware that this won't affect what your accounts see, only your view. When comps have been hidden, you can click here to restore them. Now that you have a good sense of what the book is about, go back to the markup tools and add some content. Select a priority for the title. Highlighted will change the background color to light yellow. Featured will increase the size of the jacket cover, and we all know that people do judge books by their covers. Skipped titles will be collapsed by default and can be expanded by buyers or yourself using this small arrow. Markup tags are a great way to stay organized and provide quick information to your stores, such as an author's hometown, or whether or not the book is for adults or children. Your accounts can filter the catalog by the markup tags that you add. In the new view, the Markup Note Editor has a much requested autosave feature, meaning there's no need to click Save, or inevitably forget to click Save and see this annoying pop-up. In the text editor, you can now upload images from your computer, which could be useful if you have a jacket cover that isn't quite ready for the Onyx feed. If you want to add a markup note that one of your coworkers has shared with you or that you've used in a previous catalog, we know books get delayed, click Other Markup Notes. Then toggle between Your Other Notes and Shared Markup Notes. Click the plus sign on the far right to append the note to your note. Done. Okay, after a lot of hard work, your markup is ready to share. Go to the gray bar and click Shares. Sharing is easy. Just type to find a contact, press Enter, and done. You'll need to have people in your contacts in order to share markups with them. You can add and import contacts by clicking here. Adding and organizing contacts is an easy but essential part of being a rep on Edelweiss. And you can learn more by clicking the question mark in the header and checking out our help documentation. In the gray bar, you can toggle between two modes, Edit Orders and Edit Suggestions. Whether you're working on suggestions or an order, select the account that you'd like to enter quantities for. When you are editing suggestions, the ordering area on the right will show suggestions above the quantity boxes. Check comps as needed and enter quantities using Tab to go from box to box. Some buyers love suggestions and others hate them, and they do have the option to hide your suggestions. If you're in an appointment and unsure why suggestions aren't visible, double-check the buyer's preferences to be sure that suggestions are toggled on. In an appointment, you might create an order with or for your account, especially if the buyer is not well versed in Edelweiss. Select the correct account, click Edit Orders in the gray bar, and then click All Orders to create a new order or select from an existing one. Clicking Create Order brings up what's called a modal. Give your order a name that makes sense, such as Hachette, Winter 2025. Enter any comments, PO number, discount, etc. Select the retail account you'd like to share with, and potentially make the order visible to your account. Then click Save. The order that you just created has now become the selected order, and we're ready to browse the catalog and add quantities. In a bubble to the left of the quantity boxes, you can see suggestions. And if this is a backlist order or your store already has some titles on order or on hand, you can see that information to the right. Click Previously Ordered to see details, such as what order this was previously on and how many were ordered. It's time for a deep dive on preferences. One of the big changes in the new view is the division of the old Actions menu into Actions and Preferences. As you become familiar with the new view, I imagine you'll spend a lot of time tweaking preferences for each catalog and stage of your workflow. The Preferences drawer is organized into sections that get progressively more specific. At the top are visibility preferences that affect the catalog as a whole, such as showing skipped titles instead of collapsing them. If you prefer a faster load, you can also now change the titles per page to less than 50. The second area has title row specific preferences, such as whether you'd like to see the comps or the markups expanded by default. Marketing content comps, images, the tools, and other markup notes are probably a good starting place for you. You can also set preferences for which of the marketing subsections are expanded or collapsed by default. Maybe you only need to see the summary and contributor bios for every title. Set the preference here, and you can always expand sections later as needed. Finally, in the new view, you can be explicit about where the review data you are seeing comes from by selecting from your joined communities. Maybe you only want to see reviews from the fiction community, or just your friends. There is one preference that doesn't appear in this drawer. In the upper left-hand corner, you can change the display of the entire catalog by selecting from the full view, which is what we see now, or the two-column view. For an initial scan of a catalog, maybe you prefer the streamlined two-column view. Let's go back to the full view for now, though as we move on to filtering and bulk actions, I'm sure you can imagine the possibilities for your workflow. Let's look at the Actions menu now. You can do a number of things in bulk, but you'll need to have at least one title selected first. You can do this by clicking the checkbox next to each title's sequence number. Or, in the Actions menu, choose Select All or Select All on Page. For a clean start, one useful bulk action is to select all and remove suggestions. If you are scrolling through the catalog and selecting titles here and there as you go, it can be hard to keep track of which ones you've already selected. Never fear, in the upper right-hand corner, there is this text, For Selected, next to the total number of titles in the catalog. Clicking it will open a drawer that shows you what you have selected and allows you to unselect it. The default sort order of a catalog is ascending sequence, and I imagine that's mostly what you'll use, but there are a lot of options available in the sort menu. Because of the new toggle at the top of the menu, it's now much easier to tell whether the catalog is sorting in ascending or descending order. If any sort order other than the default is applied, such as descending, the sort icon will turn orange in order to catch your eye. In the filtering drawer, the technology improvements are very noticeable. The modern tech we are using is much more responsive to user input, which means that as you apply filters, other filters update in real time without the need for a refresh. Let's see this in action by looking at Young Adult Nonfiction and pub dates. When we select Young Adult Nonfiction, you can see that our pub date filters go down to just 1. Let's apply that as well and close the drawer. When you close the filter drawer, you'll notice a few new items appear in the header. Remove all filters, edit filters, and red text, which shows how many you've now filtered down to, in my case, 1. You can edit filters by opening the drawer again, or with this button. I'll remove the Young Adult Nonfiction filter I applied. In the left-hand corner, you can edit saved filters. If you are new to saved filters, these are powerful tools to help you display just the titles you are looking for based on custom parameters you set. Any saved filters you have previously created or applied will carry over to the new view. And you can also look for some preset genre filters if you do that frequently. When you click Create New, you'll notice 2 things. 1, the Create Saved Filter modal looks exactly the same. That's because it is. These technology upgrades are incremental improvements, and we are working overtime to replace old with new. Secondly, you have a lot of options here, and they are additive or subtractive, so pick and choose what makes sense for you. One good idea that I've already implemented as a saved filter is excluding digital copies. I can do that by going through the formats and clicking Subtract on anything that is digital. Collections are essentially catalogs that any user can create. They could come in handy if you want to make a slimmed down list of titles for a museum. We can first filter by a personal tag that I've added. Museum. In the Actions menu, select All and then Add to Collection. Since I don't have this one created yet, I will type in Museum, click Create, and Add. If you want to go view the collection in full, you can click here and edit things such as the overview, summary, or image. Once the collection has been created, you can add titles to it by using the same process or by clicking Add To in the title sidebar and then going to Add to Collections and searching your existing ones. We know that some catalogs are far too long to get through in one sitting. Instead of cluttering your desk with endless post-it notes, use the bookmark function to save your place. Located on the left side of each title, clicking the bookmark icon will exit you from the catalog and back to the home page. In any widget where the catalog appears, such as Recently Viewed, you'll now see a tiny bookmark icon next to the last viewed date. Clicking on the catalog will bring you back to your place. This only works one time, so remember to mark your place again when you're done. Edelweiss provides many different ways for you to gather data on books. If a title has garnered any honors, those appear in the bibliographic data. Reviews from Edelweiss members appear on the corners of the jacket cover. And remember that where this review data comes from is affected by what you have set in your preferences. On the left is the average rating, and on the right, the number of reviews. To see the reviews in more detail, click on either of these badges. You can review the title yourself by clicking Review in the Actions sidebar. Or just give a quick much love by clicking the heart on the upper right of the jacket cover. This automatically rates the title 9 out of 10, and in a row below the jacket cover, you can see how many other people have done this, as well as see if the title appears on community shelves or collaborative lists. These are all good metrics to judge how popular a title is or will be. Click on the text if you'd like to see more detail about any of these options, such as who has given the title much love and what role they have, academic, blogger, etc. The catalog page is not the only page we have created a new view for thus far. When your account has shared an order with you and is ready to complete the buying process, go to the Orders page and then click on the order title to review and finalize your order. This view looks quite similar to the catalog view, except you won't be able to select other orders, and order and the PO number show in the overview. Click here if you'd like to edit the PO number or comments at this stage. Once you've reviewed the order, go back to the Orders page and mark the status as completed to keep things nice and tidy. It's worth noting that when you change the order status, this does not change the status of the order for the buyer. We encourage you to give the new view a try and let us know what you think. We are actively developing this view, and your feedback really does matter. In fact, since I began recording this walkthrough, we have been discussing adding a left-hand sidebar to the new view to make it look a bit more like the old. Reps were missing one-click access to filtering, so this sidebar will include some kind of quick filter functionality. The sidebar will also make it easier for us to expand the new view to other parts of the website, such as the Review Copies page, which has a lot of user interaction in this area. Every week, we are adding features and fixing bugs based on feedback. We recently released some very impressive performance improvements that are only available in the new view. Remember, if you click the light bulb in the lower right-hand corner, you can open the Knowledge Center if you need more help or want to give us feedback. If you run into any issues, please email us. We'd be happy to help.